Back with another episode of the Hill Boys podcast. Super excited. We got a couple special guests today. A couple of the original Hill Boys. We got Marquis Grissom Jr., Jaylen Nowlin, a couple of the better pitching prospects we got coming up right now. So I appreciate you guys coming out with us today.
Thanks for having us.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so just to get started, I'll kind of let each one of you, talk about how you guys got plugged in with this group and how you got plugged in with the Hill Boys. Jaylen, you can go first.
Well, I've known Marquis and Dee pretty much my whole life. Our families have known each other. My big sister played with his older daughter in sports, so that's how we know each other. But grew up playing baseball with MGBA. They really took baseball to the next level for me. And during COVID, they let me know that they were working out when nothing else was open, and I jumped on the chance to come out there and get some work. Couldn't get left behind.
D, I kind of know how obviously you got plugged in, but just kind of getting started with those guys back then.
Yeah, just in 2020 we didn't have nothing to do, so just I had him and Coach Lou. We were working out. Me and Cam, we were working out every day, and we just had an extra group of guys that still needed to do the same thing, and we knew they was gonna work hard and do the same thing and we do, and we chasing the same dream. So why not have the bros that I grew up with just go chase the same dream together?
So I'm interested to know y'all's opinion because I heard Cam talking about it. Those first days out at the Hill, what was your initial impression of what they were putting you guys through?
Tripping.
Like, what are we doing? Got us out here on this uneven ground. Might twist the ankle. But it actually make you lock in, focus even more. You really have to pay attention to what you're doing, worry about the technique rather than trying to be as fast as you can so you can protect yourself and get that work in at the same time.
Yeah, I didn't realize how crazy it was until we left, and then I would sit at home and I was just like, what did we just do? You know what I'm saying? But it's like when you with your guys and you just working hard, it don't feel the same. It's just like y'all trying to kill yourself. Y'all just putting in work together.
Now, did you guys do that with intention right there at the beginning? Kind of see bend, don't break, see how far you could push them before they break?
See who break, yeah.
Yeah, I know I did, and I was just trying to trim it down for him. I was a workaholic, with some sense. He's the workaholic with no sense. Because I seen how he treated Cam ever since he was, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old. And he just passionate about the game. He knew how hard he had to work. And we both realized that they're not us. It's a little bit more to it now to where they have to find themselves. That's just our era when we grew up and how we perceive things. And I didn't try to push D to the limit every time, but I had a lot of support with Lou, Marvin, Antonio, and other guys, through all these other programs really helped hone that in once, them guys got the pro ball.
For me, it was I just felt like it was a time to, I don't want to say experiment, but I do want to say test the waters, see how far we could push them. We wasn't on a time frame. We wasn't on any timeline. We didn't know when baseball was going to start back up. We just didn't want these guys to fall behind. So, every day, I don't say we killed them right out the gate, but it was kind of crazy. Yeah.
Gotta say.
Yeah, it was. But we had to see what was in them. That was just the key. We just needed to see that. And I think once we saw what was in them, that was it. It was like, let's keep pushing.
Was that a turning point for you? And I'll ask Cam the same thing at some point, but was it as intense before whenever you were working with your dad or even with Lou?
I feel like when we realized the intention of it, when we realized what it was for and how we were trying to work together and realized they never wrong because they've been through the same thing that we trying to get to. So I feel like once we realized that, it kind of evened it out a little bit, just kind of chilled it out. I feel like that was crazy what we were doing earlier, but it don't look crazy as much no more because of how much we worked in these last 5-6 years.
Right. So they've kind of stepped it up every year and kind of pushed it a little bit further every year as y'all go?
Definitely. Every year it seems like we upgrade the workout just a little bit, make it a little tougher. We'll be sitting there and it's looking like they just added stuff to a drill that we did 1,000 times. We go up the hill, now we got to do everything backwards or something just to make it challenging. But it's just a challenge to yourself to see if you really want to do it.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing is the talk before. It's like the conversation we have is things that we need to go through and things that we're going to go through as we go through the season. So I feel like those talks are more important, just how important they tell us about the discipline off the field and when we're not working out, just the things we need to do and how we get to spring training. We got to keep doing the same routine and keep going, just keep working. We can't just stop.
That's built like a trust between you guys, right? Being able to kind of talk those things out at the beginning of practice, especially with two guys that have been there, done that kind of thing. I'm sure that helped build that relationship a lot instead of just strictly focusing on the A's and B's of baseball and things like that.
100%. Like, just listen to what they say, and then we'll go into our season, and we'll run into the exact situation we talked about, and we just know how to handle it a lot better than other guys. So I feel like they always gave us a leg up, getting that insight information on how the game really works. So I feel like the talk, like Marquis said, it always put us ahead on the mental aspect more than, because we already there physically, but mentally it helped us get that leg up.
Now, is that something you guys are kind of monitoring during the season when you're watching these guys play and looking at some of their highlights and, you know, kind of playing back things in your mind during the off season, and maybe you're seeing something that they're doing that you guys told them about, or maybe something that they didn't do that you told them about? Are you guys kind of keeping up with that during the season?
Yeah, for the most part, just once they kind of get in season, man, you want to let them figure things out. You're hoping that the game teaches them things about themselves and things they need to learn and adjustments they need to make. We kind of leave it open if they want to call and talk about things, or they're frustrated, or if we see some, stats, something going on where it's a lengthy struggle, and we trying to figure out, either make a phone call or really just pull up on them, like he might just need a familiar face. Or he might need just a little pep talk, or just talk, or whatever it may be. So, the game is, you have to grow, man. You have to learn things. Some things you just can't save them. You just got to go through it. But I think that's our approach when it comes to that part.
Right. And so how competitive was it back then, and then kind of still to this day? Are you guys super competitive with each other when you're out on the hill working out together?
Nobody wants to be outdone. It's not like we're out there trying to beat each other, because most of the time we're all competing with ourselves. And I feel like everybody out there understands that. They reiterate, go at your own pace. If you're tired, get some water. It's not trying to kill you, but it's to understand yourself, to see how far can you push yourself, and just to keep working, basically. Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like it is a competition, but it's like they tell us to work smart, not hard. So we try to, I know in competition we might get a little antsy, probably do a little too much, then just focus on the mechanics of things and how we can get there, because we just trying to prepare for the season. And that's what they always tell us when we get in those big pressure situations, that we need to fall back on our preparation. So that's the main thing we just focus on, is just working smarter, not harder, and just focusing on the mechanics and doing it right instead of doing it hard and doing too much of it.
And do you guys kind of fall back on each other, being the two pitchers from the group? Like during the season, are you guys ever communicating? Are you kind of keeping up with what each other's doing and kind of, maybe giving some advice, or like they said, have a friendly face that they can kind of talk to outside the team?
Yeah. Me and Grip, we've been knowing each other our whole lives, so it's always been an open line between us. If we just need somebody to talk to, we can always just fall back on each other, just to voice some frustrations or whatever it is, or bounce some ideas. If he's struggling with the pitch and I'm pretty good with that pitch, I give him pointers and vice versa. So it's never, we always pushing each other, looking for the best in each other. So every day.
Yeah, we also play the game every day, basically, too. So we always can talk about the game, talk about whatever we need to, just get our mind off things, because baseball is a long season. So just to get to talk to the guys, I play almost the game with everybody that's in the group. So just getting to talk to them every now and then calling them, they one call away anytime. So just having that around your corner is everything you can ask for.
If you guys kind of had to adapt a little bit to them being pitchers, you guys obviously coming from the offensive side, and try to learn a little bit more about the pitching game to be able to prepare them for that, or are you guys kind of focused on, we're going to give them what we had from our side and let their pitching coaches kind of take that side of it?
Well, for me, I kind of like, I got some great guys that that's been a part of his development with Ken Hill, Marvin Freeman, Latrell Hawkins. So both of those guys got, 6 or 7 other people that they can call, that's pro guys that they can call, that they can lean on. And, after the game, me and him, we talk every time he pitches. He's calling right after the game. Oh, I'm calling him. Sometimes I have to call him, when he don't want to hear it. And I give him a little time, and I'll end up picking up the phone and calling him so he can get it off his chest. And actually, I just told Nowlin this year I'm gonna call him a lot more than I called. I probably called him, and I'm like, look, we don't want to bother them during the season, but I just think, like I told him, I'm gonna call him a little bit more this year because I want to hear what he got to say, because he may just need a listening ear. He may look at it like he don't want to bother us. He's not bothering us because I'm watching their games. So I'm watching 2 or 3 games. My wife get on me now. I'm watching his game, and a pro game, and my game. A Lawrence game. So I get a chance to watch all of that. So if I see something, then I can say something. But if I don't see anything, I can't really say anything. And most of the time when they come into Lou and myself, it's all about the mental part of the game. And I always ask him, I said, "You hurt?" He's like, "No." I said, "Well, all right, you all right then?" The rest of that is up here. And so we just try to be that little supporting cast that, if they need anything to talk about, just, give us a shout.
Kind of goes off the trust factor that we were talking about before that you guys have built with each other, where they know they have somebody, they can give you a call even if it's not pitching related, just something about, dealing with some struggles or whatever they might be dealing with, being able to reach out to you and kind of have your back there.
Yeah, that's why I think it's important that we've learned their personalities. We know how they work. We know kind of what makes them tick. So when they having some issues or they want to talk, we kind of already know what that might be. You know what I mean? So we can have a real conversation, or just like, it's time to just listen to him. We just got to hear him out. Whatever the case may be, because we know them, they trust us. We're not gonna ridicule them or make them feel bad about what they may say or what they may be feeling. Just try to give them some understanding or perspective as to how to look at it and how to maybe go about it, and then just get back at it. Because sometimes you might need a little kick in the ass, you might need a little pat on the back, or you might need a laugh. So we, with us having that relationship, we can do whatever it may take for them, and they're gonna receive it the right way and go out there and go back at it. So that's why it's important, man. That's why I love doing it. It feels great that they do trust us with the things that we say. I don't know everything about pitching, but I know when mechanics messed up. I know when your head messed up, you're thinking the wrong thing. So I just try to get in where I fit in at and things that I know. I don't speak on things that I don't know. Like we said, we got pitching guys that can talk to them about mechanics and things that, from that perspective. But like I said, just try to get in where I fit in and help them along.
And how important is it for you guys to have that kind of somebody, outside the organization that you can call whenever you're going through that? How valuable is that for you guys?
It's so valuable. Just having these guys, being able to just tell them what we're going through, and they fully listen and actually understand what we're talking about. Not seeing us as like we're just complaining, but actually listening to what we're saying, and they let us know that either that's just how it goes or this is how you get around that. But just having these guys always being an open ear is just a big part of our development every day.
Yeah, I feel like it's everything. Even after games, when I talk to them about pitching, and if they show me the hitter's perspective, and if they ain't like that pitch I threw in that situation that probably caused some damage, they could tell me where it's wrong. Just like they always tell us, if you either win or you learn. So it's just like you take those failures as learning opportunities just to learn and figure out what you can do for the next time you get that opportunity again.
And then what's the bond meant for you guys with this, particular group that you guys all started with? having those guys. I know you said that you guys game a lot and you can kind of chat and catch up on stuff like that, but just having that core group of guys that are kind of going through the same thing you're going through, that have been through those steps. What's it like having that close group of guys that you guys can kind of confide in?
It's great. It makes training a lot easier. Like, you're going out there, you're not thinking like, oh, this is work, or you're dreading it. Going out there, finna go get some work in with my guys. They gonna push me, I'm gonna push them. So iron sharpens iron kind of deal. And I don't think you can beat that. The work we put in is just different, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like it's motivational for me. I feel like Mike and Lawrence led the way, just getting to the league and showing that they can compete and show their talent, and Chan's right behind them. And I feel like we right behind them this year. So with Cam too and Spikes, we all just chasing the same dream, and they leading the way. So it's just like we see our group of guys and see 3 of them that already did it. So I feel like we can do the same thing. That's what motivated us to be harder working at the hill, off the field, on and off the field. So that's what's motivational for us.
Now, did you guys have anything like that whenever you were coming up and whenever you were playing? Did you guys have that close bond with a group that maybe wasn't on your team? And if not, like, where do you see the value that these guys have, that close group that they can kind of rely on?
Well, for me, I didn't have it. I was in Chicago. Wasn't many pro guys there. I was figuring things out on my own. And so, fast forwarding to now, I understand how important that is. It wasn't until I really met him to where I had somebody in the game that I can talk to, I can be myself around. He was going to shoot me straight. He was going to, help me in different ways, becoming a professional. And I understood how important that was. I always wanted that. I always was the guy that was kind of spearheading things, at home. Setting up workouts and facilities and stuff like that, because I wanted to get to the highest level. So once I kind of got around him and seeing how important that was and learning, watching and different stuff like that, I knew that that was the type of environment that, young guys would need, in order to grow. Because sometimes you get tired, man. Sometimes you get frustrated. Sometimes you need to see somebody else working hard or who can push you. So I think it kind of, for me, it kind of stemmed from just, my career and the things that I was missing, things that I wish I would have got at an earlier age.
I feel like you took a few players kind of under your wing like that you've talked about before, that you learned from people, kind of did for you, that you kind of passed on along with, people like Lou as well.
Yeah, I was fortunate. I come up under Tim Raines. And when I first got to the big league, Tim Raines, Otis Nixon, Hubie Brooks, Wallace Johnson. So I had 2 starting guys, and Wallace Johnson was the guy that came off the bench. I just watched how hard he worked, and they kind of led me on and off the field. And then in my first year, to have Tony Gwynn, Eric Davis, Darryl Strawberry, all these veteran guys, come up to me and introduce themselves to me, who I already knew, and then they took me around their wing on and off the field. So I had that coming up as a player. But before I got to the major league, it was just a whole bunch of big league and minor league guys working out, but it was nothing like that or somebody telling me how to play. It was just a workout. Mm-hmm. And so that was very helpful still too, that you push yourself kind of in that environment. But the big league guys that was awesome an experience for me as far as those guys taking me out after the game. Yeah, it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of giving me all the little tips in and out of what it's going to take to stay on the field.
Right. And so for you guys going through these off-season workouts with the Hill Boys, working with these coaches, how has that helped you guys approach the next level, whether it was you going from tech to the next level, whether it's going from high A to double A, doing these off-season workouts and having this regimen with these guys? How does that help prepare you guys whenever you're taking those next steps in your career?
For me, I think it's every time you take a jump, it's more of a jump mentally. You have to prepare yourself at a higher level. Like this year, they preach routine, and I'm trying to figure out a routine that I can stick to from today, and that's going to last me through the whole season. And I think that's the part where we learn consistency, and it'll just take us to the next level. Because what's the quote you say? Consistency breeds.
Wait.
This will bring opportunity.
It breeds opportunity. With the opportunity, you can take it from there.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like it's like same thing, falling back to the preparation, just the mental side, just staying even keel with everything during the season, because there's gonna be ups and downs, and just making those jumps it's just another time where you just gotta focus on what your preparation was in the off season, what you work hard for, so you just let it play out in the season.
We've talked about it before too, that preparation, focusing on that training development side. I would assume that makes it a lot easier when you get into those in-game situations and things like that. That, maybe some players aren't getting the off season. That you guys putting in this work, do you feel more confident and more prepared once you do get out there on the mound and you face some of these tougher situations?
Definitely. They also preach visualization. So when we're working out, they tell us to imagine ourselves in certain situations. So it's like, when you're working and you're getting tired, can you still think straight in those certain situations? And I think that helps us in game too. So like, we know how to breathe when things get kind of sped up and slow ourselves down. So yeah, that's a big help.
Is that something you guys do with intention as well during these off-season trainings? Is, kind of thinking about some of the situations they may get in game situations or just in-season situations that you guys are kind of intentionally preparing them for without maybe preaching it right to their face, just kind of that underlying development?
Yeah, I mean, the workouts are kind of designed to push them to the limits and just seeing how, if they can battle through it, if they're going to fold and not give the same effort. We already know if they can push through the work that we put them through and focus through it and do it with the proper technique, then that's going to translate onto the field. It's really the same thing, because it's just mental. You being under control and just trusting what you can do at that point in time, giving 100% of what you got in the moment. So those things translate. So I guess you could say, in a sense, we set the workouts up so that they can, learn about themselves. And I believe once they push through things and when they're tired or they don't want to do it, I think they learn that they can handle pretty much anything.
Is that something that you've seen kind of year after year, them coming back, that maybe we don't have to focus so much on this because they've taken it upon themselves to push themselves to either fix that thing, or they're already focused on that, so now we can move on to step 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah, I think the other day we talked about being comfortable when it's uncomfortable, because that's what it is. And the other word was pressure, under pressure. Get comfortable being under pressure, because that's what it is. You're on the mound, you got a batter, you got a ball, he has a bat. It's a fight, it's a battle, it's a duel. There's pressure. So you have to compete. And the only way you can compete at the highest level is that you're prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're focused and they committed to what they're trying to accomplish and they're prepared, they can live with the mistakes. So we're firing back now after one bad pitch. Okay, I'm locked back in. Not the next batter, the next pitch. Not next week, the next game. And so that's how they're able to excel to the next level, because he just said if it's not the mental part of the game with pitching is the key. With the position players too, but with the pitchers, I think it's a little bit more element to it than the hitter, for the hitter, because you got to be able to bounce back that next pitch. All right, and they're able to do that, and again, that's the only way they're able to excel to the next level. So when you're able to have control and command of your pitches, all of your pitches, and you can throw them at any count, that's when they'll be in the big leagues.
And do you guys feel that, like, you feel that confidence when you're on the mound, that you don't have that, maybe that underlying stress and things like that you guys can focus on the next pitch, kind of from what they've built in the offseason?
Oh yeah, definitely. Just like, even they tell us about, even umpires might not give you a call. You just got to fight back and get right back in the account, and just worry about the next pitch and just go pitch by pitch. Don't try to think too much of stats and all of that. Just mainly focus on the competition right there when it's right in front of you.
We basically just have to worry about the controllables. Things that we can control, we have to keep it under control. And if we can't control it, we can't worry about it. So if the umpire doesn't want to give us a strike, we just got to keep trying to pound the zone until they call it. But if they don't, we can't just go out there and pout. We got to keep fighting.
Body language, yeah.
Seems like a really good mental attitude to have moving forward, because I feel like a lot of times with pitchers especially, you can see some of them that get frustrated with a bad zone or maybe struggling a little bit here and there, and being able to kind of move on from that situation, flush it, and just kind of focus on what's next. Is there anything that you two are specifically approaching this offseason, knowing that you kind of need to work on, or something that you're taking your approach a different way going into this next season, kind of working out with these guys?
Mainly just consistency. For me personally, I know that's probably my biggest weakness. That's probably where I fall short at the most, is being as consistent as I need to be. I know I have the ability. It's just more of the mental aspect to be intentional with everything I do. So the more I be intentional, the more I stick to my routine, I feel like that'll translate to the field to more success for myself.
Yeah, I feel like the main thing I worry about this year is discipline and staying healthy. I got injured in the end of July last year with my shoulder. I'm just been working on that and just working on the discipline off the field, eating better, running sometimes when we don't have practice, or just sometimes at night with stretching at night and stuff like that. Just the discipline on and off field, because everything I could sacrifice more to be a better player in person. So that's the main thing, is just more things I could sacrifice to improve.
Do you guys feel like some of those habits that you learned in those early years and over the last 5 years are becoming easier to kind of put into your daily routine, and it's not something you have to think about so much anymore, that they've kind of instilled in you and built those good habits out?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's as straightforward as that, but we definitely put the effort in to be better every day. Like you say, you want to get 1% better, and if you're not getting better, you want to stay where you're at. You never want to decline or regress. So as much as we can get better every day, that's the biggest goal.
Yeah, I just realizing it's a process, and you just gotta trust it, So like everything that happens to us is for us. So the struggles and the ups and downs, they're gonna happen, and they just how you bounce back from them. That's the main thing.
I'm sure you guys see it from your perspective, that you might see it even better than they do, that they're doing a lot of those things that you had to instill and kind of drive into them those first couple of years, that maybe you're not having to hammer on as much anymore.
We're definitely seeing growth in all of those guys, especially these two. But I think they're realizing that's just part of the development process. I mean, maturity and experience going to teach you a lot of things that you might have got away with when you was younger, just because you was just better than the competition. And as they rise, they start to understand, I might have to get some sleep. I may have to show up a little early. So I think, as they progress through the system, and the game starts to teach you, because the game will teach you, but they've heard it over the last few years. We stressed on it, we talked about it, and they starting to, understand how important those things are.
So that Hill Boys mindset's still kind of showing up on a daily basis for you guys as you move through your season, even when you get away from these guys. You still are kind of hearing those echoes in your head of that Hillboy mindset, right?
Always. I think that's what helps us get through a season, just to fall back on the words they give us. One of my favorite quotes Lou gave us was, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall back on your habits. So as long as we work to better habits, I feel like that puts us in a better position to perform in under pressure situations.
Yeah, we write down everything, most of the things they tell us, so we can always go back and read what they told us during those days. So this kind of our first and second year really writing them down, actually keying in on what they really saying, and this is probably the biggest year that we need it. So I feel like that's very important for us to write them down and have those words and remember where we came from almost during the season, because it's easy to forget that when you're away from them for a long time, and it's easy to fall into the season. So just make sure you can go back and even talk to them. It's just like anything you can ask for.
I feel like you guys probably know that they have all the physical capabilities that they need to go to the next level, and now you guys have probably shifted a lot of focus onto that mental side for them, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they say it's 90% mental. It is. I mean, again, you're dealing with failure on a regular basis. You're dealing with expectations that you have for yourself, the team's expectations. You're dealing with information that you're receiving on a daily basis. Do this work for me? Is this for me? Should I be doing this? And then, when you're going out and you're not having success, you start thinking, is what I'm doing enough? Do I need to be doing, you know what I mean? So, mentally, we just try to keep it really simple. You are enough. You guys got what it takes. You are enough. You don't have to try to be different from what you are. Let's perfect what it is that you bring into the table, man. Let's master these things. And be sure about when you go out there, man, I know I can do this. And I'm going to go do it. And I'm going to be prepared to do it. So mentally, now we're not thinking about so many things. We're just focusing on the things that we're good at. And I think that's going to help them along, with their process.
Absolutely. And I'm just curious from each one of you, what just kind of being a Hillboy means to you. Because I know that this has kind of grown. We've seen the progress of you guys and just what that it means to be part of this program. What is it when someone says, oh, you're a Hillboy? What does that kind of mean to you guys now?
For me, if I put it in one word, it's relentless. No matter what situation you face, you're just going to keep fighting until you get through it. Like they said, you're dealing with failure every day. So it's never going to just be easy. Nothing's going to be given out to us. So as long as you're relentless and you just keep fighting, keep working, stay consistent, you give yourself a better chance. Like Lou said, nothing's guaranteed, but you want to give yourself the best chance you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like the work ethic of all of us is just very important to how far we came and how we are trying to continue to grow. So it means everything to me to be a Hillboy. I feel like we are one of the hardest workers, if not the hardest working group in baseball. So I feel like the discipline and how we are relentless and everything, that we're just ready to go no matter what.
You guys have laid down a great foundation for, the junior Hillboys programs and things like that we worked with this offseason. Do you guys have just like a quick little bit of advice for kids that are looking up to you right now? We talked earlier about expectations and things like that, but you guys haven't been through it and now competing at the highest level, maybe talking back to your 12-year-old self, 13-year-old self, just a little bit of advice you can give those kids as they're moving forward in their baseball life as well.
All I can say is the more you play, the harder it gets. So you just got to be ready for the work, and you really find out what kind of person you are through playing this game. The failure can get to a lot of people, and a lot of people will quit. But if you don't quit, you really got to be dedicated to the craft to get better every day.
Yeah, I feel like the more you go up in age, I feel like the more it shows if you love the game or not. So I feel like if I was talking to my 12, 13-year-old self, I would just tell them to keep going, realize it's a process, So I would just tell myself, put in the work and don't worry about the scouts that's looking around. Don't worry about who's in the stands. Just keep putting the work and they'll show on the field.
And I guess just to kind of wrap up, do you guys have any specific goals that you're working for this season? Or are you kind of just trying to get better each and every day? Or do you have something that you kind of put in front of yourself that I'm grinding to that thing this season?
Me personally, I want to make that big jump. And I know it's going to be tough, but it's going to take some consistency and a lot of success on the field that I can only worry about the controllables, like I said. So as long as I can stay within myself, work on the controllables, and just shove as much as possible, I think everything will work out. But I just want to make it to the big leagues this year.
Yeah, I feel like that's both of our goals, just being so close, being one call away. I feel like we're both going to do it this year. And I feel like that's been the main thing. Just that's what we've been focusing on, but we're focusing on after that just because they say it's hard to get there, but it's harder to stay. So we've been focused on just the same thing, like he said, being consistent and just letting it all work out when we fall back into our habits.
How fun has it been for you guys to see them get to this point where they're a phone call away, both of them, to see them kind of put that work in and going into this next season knowing that they're right there in that pocket?
Yeah, it's cool. It's just we know it's part of the process, but to see, how fast they have come through the minor leagues and where they're at now, being one call away, man, it's just like now you just got to continue to be the best version of yourself. And if they're able to do that and continue with the process, like Dee said, it's a process, and that's what the younger people don't understand. But it's a process, and now it's just all about getting the opportunity. It's just like any guy that's in AAA can probably be a big league. It's just if they want to give them that opportunity. And that's why we're talking about now, getting that opportunity. And me, for me, that opportunity is so powerful because Hank Aaron said he only wanted to try to create an opportunity for others. And I kind of live by that motto to this day, and to try to create an opportunity for some other people.
Yeah, for me, man, I'm proud of them. It's fun to watch. It's been fun to watch their development. You know, all ups and downs, all the things that they talk about that they grew through, and the fact that they're one phone call away from that dream. I see it happening, and hopefully they see it too. So they working like it, you know. And for me, if they continue to work and be prepared when they get that opportunity, you know, I think they'll excel at it, man. And it'd be all worth all the ups and downs and the anguish and the anxiety. But they built for it, man. They have the ability to do it. And I'm sitting back, I'm gonna have my popcorn. I'm gonna be there when it happens. Trust me.
Well, we're wishing nothing but the best for you two guys this season. Hoping you guys have a good, healthy season this year. I appreciate you guys coming out today, kind of hanging out with us for a little bit. Definitely be sure everyone's following along on the Hill Boys social pages. We're going to get these guys a little bit more involved during the season, try to get you some behind-the-scenes stuff. So Marquis and Jaylen, thank you guys for coming out here. You know, keep crushing it this offseason and keep pushing forward next season.
Appreciate you,
All
Pat.
right, appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys.
Here we go.